guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm finally going to be finishing this sketchbook that I've been working on since about last August, so yeah, really excited about that. I've enjoyed working in this Ohuhu mixed media so much, but I'm really excited to move on to my next book. For this last page in my sketchbook, I wanted to do something a little bit special. I wanted to do a full illustration of one of my OCs, plus one of my newly adopted OCs, because I think they go so well together. I'm already coming up with their backstory, and I just think they're perfect together. So I'm going to do a full sketch to full color traditional illustration in the last page of my sketchbook, just to sort of finish things off with a bang. For the first and last pages of any sketchbook I do, I always feel this obligation to do something a little bit nicer. I try not to let that pressure affect me too much. In this case, it kind of did a little bit, because my intention to make a really nice full color traditional illustration in the last book of this book is sort of the reason why I've procrastinated doing it for so long, in addition to the added element of I wanted to film it and share it with you guys, so that was also an additional little bit of pressure mounting that made me procrastinate it. So I'm sorry it's taken this long to get to you guys and to finish it. It's been just as painful for me because I've been wanting to start my new sketchbook for so long now, but I didn't want to start the new one before properly finishing the old one. But anyway, it's finally here, and I'm so glad I can finally share it with you guys. And I'm so glad I'm uploading again too. Sorry for the little break in uploads there. I think I often reach these little stumbling blocks in my creative journey which prevent me from making things. You can call it like a creative block or a sudden bit of procrastination because you want the next thing you're working on to be absolutely perfect, but then it causes like a huge backup in everything because you're pausing at that one thing. I'm sure you're all very familiar with that. But I also think it's good that I had this little break, because once you have a break from something, you are that much more motivated to jump back into it and get the ball rolling again. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I have stepped away from YouTube for a brief period unexpectedly, but I am so ready to be back. And just like I've mentioned before, I do have a lot more video ideas planned. I reorganized my video plans, and it turns out I have so many videos planned that I am kind of good for the rest of this year, which is really cool. That means the planning side of everything is sort of all done. So now, what we face from here on is the execution side, so wish me the best, everyone. Let's see if I can follow through. Okay, I want to talk more about the characters I'm drawing because I feel like I haven't had a proper chance to do that yet. The main character in this drawing, her name is Nefeli. She is my Cloudwalker Bunny, or Nefeli Bunny OC. She is the lonely princess of the Cloud Kingdom up in the sky. She lives up above the clouds and wanders through the sky, but she's very lonely because she's very shy and struggles to make friends. But then one day she meets Mimir, which is the other character in this drawing, which the design, I want to say, I adopted from Plushpon, so shout out to Plushpon, check out their designs. They are super cute. Once I adopted this design and I saw it next to Nefeli, I was just like, oh my gosh, they were meant to be. So I decided to add to Nefeli's lore and make it so that she has met Mimir through her travels through the sky, and they become the closest of friends. Yeah, it's super simple, these two and their lore, but that's what I got so far, and I'm really happy with it. I just think they were meant for each other, and yeah. I will also soon be adding these two to my art fight character roster. Happy soon to be art fight, everybody! I'm on Team Stardust, and whether you have chosen also Team Stardust or Team Seafoam, I hope you also enjoy art fight to the fullest and have a great year, and prepare to be attacked a lot. If you're participating in art fight this year, go ahead and put your username down in the comments and let me know what team you chose. My video from last year has been getting a lot of traction, which makes me really happy, but it also kind of makes me want to do an updated one. But when I really think about it, not only am I too embarrassed to watch the old one again because it's just one of the earliest videos I made on this channel, it's a hard watch. But I also feel like I covered most of the basics. I feel like most of the art fight videos out there cover it all pretty well. Like at this point, I'm not really sure what to add. So while I won't do an updated tips video, I still may do an art fight prep video where I am drawing a ref of one of my OCs that I'm adding to my roster and just sort of doing a commentary speed paint of that. I'm looking forward to doing another digital speed paint because as much as I love drawing traditionally, filming it and editing these traditional drawing videos is really tough. Well, only by comparison when you're comparing screen recording your screen while you're drawing digitally versus setting up a camera and making sure the lighting's right and the angle is right and the focus is set right so that it doesn't focus on your hand and just focuses on the drawing. And yeah, there's a lot more that goes into filming a traditional drawing setup, but I really love the end result of it. It's always worth it, but there's just more that goes into it. I feel like I also don't have a lot of digital speed paints up on the channel, so I'd like to make more of those as well, because if I make more of those, it might make it a little bit easier also to get more videos out and stick to the schedule that I hope to keep in the future. Anyway, pivoting the topic of conversation, the mediums I've chosen to make this drawing today, I've chosen pretty much all alcohol markers for the character, and for the background I decided to opt with watercolor. So all the markers I used are from Ohuhu, but 2 of the colors are from Copic because there were just certain shades of pink that Ohuhu didn't have, or at least the set I have doesn't have, so but I had them in Copic, so it's mostly Ohuhu, but there are 2 Copic colors. And if you reference the color sheet that I showed at the beginning of the video, you can reference the specific color codes so that if you have those same marker colors and you have a character with similar colors, and if you like the product of this, maybe you can use those same colors as well, I don't know. And I haven't shown it yet in the video, but the brand of watercolors that I will be using today will be the Grabby watercolors. If I remember correctly, I think it's the 100 color set. It's the set that comes with the macaron colors and the metallic colors, so and the neon colors, so there's a very wide selection, and so I'll use that for the background, and then I take some of the metallic colors and go over the character for like an extra sparkly effect. It's really exciting. This is the first time I've drawn this character traditionally. I knew it was going to be a challenge going into it because I've only ever drawn this character digitally, and I really went above and beyond with her design when I was designing her, so I knew I'd have to really get creative with how I used my traditional mediums to try to capture the same essence of the character, the way her colors blend into each other, and the whole general vibe. But honestly, I'm really proud of how the final product turned out, and I honestly think I did a pretty good job of capturing the same likeness of the character in a different medium, so I'm really happy about that. Alcohol markers are kind of similar to watercolor in that I think it's smartest to layer down your lightest colors first and then work your way up, and my favorite blending method is to take the lighter color and put it down, and then take the darker color and put it down, then take the lighter color and then blend into the darker color and use that lighter color as the mode of blending. I usually get the best results that way. Also, with using the Ohuhu markers, I find the best results I get for getting a smooth wash on the paper without too much streakiness is to draw in circular motions. I don't work with them as much as I should. I really love using alcohol markers because the color is so bold and vibrant. When done correctly, it really does look like digital art on paper. I love the end result of this. Oh, and I forgot to mention, for the preliminary sketch of this piece, the red pencil I used, it's the Pilot Color Eno 0.7 size lead, and after the drawing, I also used some Prismacolor pencils to outline a couple parts of the drawing. I love the combination of alcohol markers and colored pencils in general. I love the texture that they can add to a piece, and I love doing outlines in colored pencils too. I definitely made a good call in getting the bullet-tipped Ohuhu markers when I was deciding which one to purchase, because in this piece there were a lot of really fine detail portions of it that a brush nib or a chisel nib really wouldn't have been good for. Anyway, it's not even the beginning of summer yet, like technically the first day of summer hasn't happened yet, but it is already so hot where I live. Today was close to 90, but also that's really exciting. Summer is beginning. I'm really excited for this summer. I want to do all sorts of things while I can, while the weather is really warm. Do you guys also have fun plans this summer? I know for a number of you that means school is out, so that can be really exciting. I remember when I was in school and we would have summer break. That was just the best. It was so nice during that time when your biggest responsibility was school, and then you got like a couple month break from it, and your only obligation was maybe some summer required work, but mostly just to have as much fun as possible before the next school year starts. When you reach adulthood, summers start blending together more. Like, you have to make more of an effort to make the summer feel special, I feel like, but that might be with a lot of things in adulthood. Life just has a certain sparkle typically when you're a child, and when you become an adult, you have to kind of make it sparkle a little bit, if that makes sense. It sounds super sad, but it's really not all that bad, especially when you reach adulthood. You have a little bit more autonomy over your life than you did when you were a kid, so you have the power to do a lot more fun things when you're an adult, so in that way it can be nice. But yeah, last summer I think is when I started this sketchbook. At first I thought it was last autumn. I think that's actually around the time I had uploaded the video instead. The starting my sketchbook video that I had started this particular sketchbook in, I was confusing myself a little bit because the video went up in autumn, but I had started the sketchbook in August because that's the date that I had stamped in the book. So you can kind of see there, I had like filmed it and it took a while to get the actual video up. I'm not sure. I think maybe I was in like a creative slump back then, but I'm so glad I like persevered and pushed through because that ended up coincidentally being the most popular video on this channel so far. So that's really cool. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. So I did the line work for this piece with Stabilo fine liner pens in all sorts of different colors to give it the illusion of colored line art. And here I am going in with my grabby watercolors to work on the background. For the background, I wanted to go for a very pastel, dreamy, sort of ethereal vibe, almost like Twilight kind of, when the sky is kind of pink / purple. So I wanted that kind of color to counteract the blue of the characters in the foreground. And the overall composition, I imagined the characters to just kind of be floating among the clouds, so they're just kind of, yeah, floating in the sky. And I wanted to keep the colors of the background very minimal, so I decided to just do like pink sky and white clouds and white stars and white moon. I wanted the characters to really shine in this piece, so I didn't want to add too many conflicting elements in the background to distract from the main focal point of the illustration. And sort of for the same reason, I was trying not to be too precious with the background either. Also because this is just an illustration in my sketchbook and I didn't want to put too much pressure on, and inherently there is a lot of pressure with backgrounds anyway, so I figured I would be very kind of loose with it and very forgiving with myself too if I made a mistake or something. But honestly, by the end, I think it turned out pretty well, and especially when I went in with the colored pencils to sort of line everything and define certain shapes and stuff, I think you could hardly tell where the quote-unquote mistakes were anyway. So yeah, that's a tip too. If you find that you make a mistake or something, usually if you just continue on in the piece and like continue rendering line with some colored pencils or something, just add more elements in the piece to distract from your mistakes and you should be good. It's also so hard not to get carried away with the details, especially the finishing touches. I feel like I can never fully finish a piece. There's always something else I want to do, and I always find like, oh, this would be cute here. Maybe I could add this little thing. You can see I added like the little stars with the jelly roll white pen too. It's kind of hard to see, but I also added the metallic watercolor here too. But this is the point where I finally ended it and I felt good about it, and you can see you could sort of see the metallic, but the camera just doesn't do it justice. It's something you have to see in person. But there you go, that is the last page of this sketchbook. Sketchbook 7 is finally complete. It feels so good to be done with this book, and I'm really happy I was able to end it on an illustration I was super proud of. So yeah, that is that. But we are not over yet because I wanted to do a little tour, just a mini sketchbook tour as a treat of some of my favorite pages in the book. I'm just going to flip through some of those pages that I am especially proud of, just to give you kind of a sense of the goings on of this sketchbook and what kind of things it's made of. If you're interested in the full tour of this sketchbook, it will be going up shortly on my Patreon. I'll probably make a community post announcement when I do so too, so you'll know when that goes up over there. So if you're interested, I like to share full tours of all of my sketchbooks with my supporters on Patreon, just as a little reward and a thank you for supporting me. It's a fun way to get an idea of what my creative process is like and the kind of things I'm practicing, the kind of characters that I am formulating and designing, and just a nice way to get inspiration for your own sketchbooks and art as well. And with that, I think we can officially close the chapter on Sketchbook 7. What an era! It was so fun to work in this book, and I'm so glad I can finally stamp the finish date as well. With this book finally complete, I am very much looking forward to starting my next sketchbook, which I will sneak a little preview in the video if you catch it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being patient during my little break in uploads there. I'm really looking forward to making new videos, and I hope you stick around to watch. See you next time. Bye bye!